We have an hour and a half to talk about education, and I would like to turn to the candidates for their 3-minute opening statements. And if we would, Mr. Gordon.
Thank you, Camille. Thank you to you for your efforts in organizing this, and to all of the sponsors, and thank you to all of you who are here this morning and those of you watching. My name is Rich Gordon, and my life's work has been on behalf of children and youth. I started as a youth minister, and then for over 20 years I worked in the field of social service, trying to help young people and families. I founded an agency in San Mateo County called Youth and Family Assistance, where we provided counseling services to young people. We ran the suicide prevention program in San Mateo County. We had residential facilities for young people. We also opened a restaurant that was a job training center to help people with vocational skills. Based on that work, I felt the government had a role to play in helping people achieve their dreams. And so I ran for the County Board of Education and served for 5 years on our county board. As a county board member, I worked to make sure that we had good teacher training programs. I worked to lower classroom size. And I worked closely with the special ed program in San Mateo County, which is administered through the County Office of Education. In 1997, I ran for the San Mateo County Board of Supervisors, and I've been on the board for 13 years. During my tenure on the Board of Supervisors, I've continued to make children and youth a priority in my work. One of the things that I did early on was to work to establish a program for homework assistance. The county government, our county government in San Mateo, actually provides an annual grant to the County Office of Education. And they use that money to fund after-school homework centers for at-risk youth. The centers are staffed by teenagers, high school students who get paid to do that work. We think it's a real win-win program. We've also, I also serve in San Mateo County on our First Five Commission. This is the commission that works on issues related to children from 0 to 5. And there I was involved in the establishment of our Children's Health Initiative. We have insurance, health insurance, for every child in San Mateo County up to 400% of the federal poverty level. And we also established a universal preschool program. Most recently, over the last 18 months, I've been serving at a state level as chair of what is called the City-County Schools Partnership. It is an effort, joint effort of the leadership of the California School Boards Association, the State Association of Counties, and the League of Cities. And our efforts are to try to make sure that we look at greater service connection and linkage between all levels of local government, trying to make sure that schools become a hub of service as a community school model. I look forward to talking about that and other issues with you later in this forum. Thank you.
Ms. Kishimoto.
Thank you. I would also like to thank everyone for coming today and thank Camille for organizing this very important forum. My name is Yoriko Kishimoto, and many of you probably know me already as mayor of Palo Alto, as a parent of 2 daughters who went to the system. One of them is in the back there. As an author of an internationally published book, Stanford MBA, and a small business owner. But you may not know my educational story. I began life in the United States as a first-generation immigrant. I began elementary school not knowing a word of English, and I was fortunate to have teachers who spent the time after school to teach me reading, how to read about Dick and Jane. And until 4th grade, they sent me to speech class to work on my R's and L's. I think I finally got that perfected. And I went on to Stanford Business School to start my consulting firm, which I ran for about 20 years in the U.S.-Japan area, and to write my book about California and America's future. So California today stands at a true crisis, almost a life and death point. And we've gotten to the point where further, quote, service cuts to education is just not an option anymore. Last summer, we saw the devastating impact of a $9.3 billion cut to education. It resulted in 20,000 teachers being laid off, a shorter school year, no new textbooks, summer classes being canceled. And many years ago, as a PTA mom and member of the site council, I mean, I saw the direct consequences of the dysfunctional state system on our classrooms. And of course, today it's become geometrically worse. So fixing the system is not going to be easy. But I jumped into office a number of years ago because I got mad. I was mad that people had given up on tackling the toughest problems. And I believe that I've developed a track record of reading every page of the budget, and the staff reports, of talking to the members, doing my homework, and tackling issues which are the most complex, technically, financially, politically, and doing the hard work of finding that kernel of common ground and building a coalition. And I'm proud to have been named Coalition Builder of the Year by the Palo Alto Weekly. Today, education is the single toughest and most important issue facing the state of California, and I will be proud to be your representative in tackling this problem with you.
Thank you. And now, Mr. Josh Becker.
Thank you. I'd also like to thank the organizers, and I also want to thank all of the parents in the room who worked on parcel tax campaigns recently in Palo Alto and Menlo Park. If you worked on the parcel tax campaigns, I see Robin, Stacy, raise your hands if you worked on those campaigns. Thank you to all of you for the work that you did in that effort. And that's representative of parents throughout this district, hundreds of thousands of parents throughout this district and the state who are willing to tax themselves, willing to spend time and organize and tax themselves because they care about education. And I want to take that same passion and commitment and those values to Sacramento. Because I believe that we share values throughout this district, values of a clean environment, values of access to quality, affordable health care, but most importantly, access to strong public education. And I've lived those values for the last 15 years myself, spending my own time organizing things like the Full Circle Fund, where it's been one of my greatest privileges in my life to bring together smart people, education experts and non-education experts, people who came in knowing nothing but just cared about the issue. And for the last 10 years, pooling together our time and our money, supporting the most innovative ideas we could find, looking throughout the spectrum, developing a theory of change, and attacking all areas around it, whether it be getting parents more involved in schools and getting immigrant parents more involved, or tackling problems like the Oakland School District, trying to help in that overhaul and improving it for 5 years running. But the values really came home to me when I had my own kids. My son Aaron is 4, and my daughter Sophie is going to be 6, 4 days after this election. She gave me this heart for good luck today, which I have with me. And when she entered kindergarten in September, that was one of the things that propelled me to get into this race. And I want them to have access to the same great public education that I had. And I want all kids in California to have access to a great public education and access to the opportunities that we all had. And I'm running to make sure that that happens. I have 3 main priorities. Jobs, number 1. We've lost 1 million jobs in the last 3 years, and that's what we need to get the budget fixed and get the money that we need. Education, funding's number 1. All the reforms, none of the reforms will work unless we have adequate funding. Second, preparing kids for jobs of the future. Third, universal preschool. And fourth, working in the higher education system. And then also reforming the way business is done in Sacramento. So the challenge is huge. Quality public education has never been more at risk. But I'm reminded by my favorite quote of John F. Kennedy. He said that our problems are man-made, therefore they may be solved by man. And no problem of human destiny is beyond human beings. So we have enormous problems to fix education, but together we can do it. Thank you.
Thank you for your opening statements.